Community Corner 22 was quite a serious community corner for a number of serious reasons. You guys really should watch it. The ones I want to talk about in this video, though, are the ones dealing with competitive play, card acquisition, and player progression. The Paragon team basically divulges their thinking and philosophy behind these topics, and I wanted to throw in my 2 cents into the discussion. Amazon is the tried and true way of shopping for anything you need or want at the lowest prices. Support the channel at no cost to you by doing your Amazon shopping through the link in the video description. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a discussion video. Really, I am Sylphin. First off, guys, I'd like to thank the Paragon team, honestly, at Epic Games for being so forthcoming, transparent, and divulgent. They do not need to do this in any way, shape, or form, and I just want to thank them for what they do, honestly. It is hugely appreciated and welcome, and I know that I greatly benefit from their communication on the forums and through community corners. Secondly, I offer my thoughts, thinking, and advice from a good place with well-meaning intentions. I do, I really do. I care for this game, for its future, and I do everything that I do on this content, on this channel, through my content, through my streams and stuff, to meet this end. What I say in this video and throughout the rest of my content is intended as helpful and constructive, even if sometimes my emotions and daily life and everything else tempered the delivery of that intent in a different manner. I'm human, and sometimes I struggle, and I just really get passionate. Now, in this scenario, I honestly don't like doing a TLDR because it's just so complicated, but I will anyways. I'll get out there and just watch the rest of the video for my proof behind my line of thinking. So, they want to make Paragon the best competitive MOBA on PC and PS4, period. This then requires the best competitive system, and top competitive play requires humans to compete against each other's skill, not systematic RNG or limitations. That's basically what RPGs are based around. Human competition requires the battlefield to be fair and equal. All players must use, or at least have access to, the same tools, equipment, and conditions. That just is. Therefore, all cards and gems must be available for players when competing against each other. Now, new players, though, they have to be supported. Before they access the system, a tutorial system must at least be offered before PvP. It can be forced, but at least has to be offered. So my proposed tutorial system, 1 match, basically as it is now, explaining the core fundamentals of hero control, gameplay, etc. Kind of like what we have now. Of course, it can still be made better. The 2nd through 6th match, probably starting as Gideon in the mid lane, as that's what's in the current, what the current tutorial is, as solo versus AI. Those 2 to 6th matches, solo versus AI, with 1 match in each lane, role, escalating in tutorial complexity and topics as the matches progress. So that 2nd match, you're not talking about, jungle timings, you're slowly ramp up the complexity throughout those 2nd to 6th matches, and the last probably being jungle, as it's probably the most complicated one. Then, after that 6th match, you get a deck building tutorial. Then you get 1 co-op versus AI match where you're almost let just kind of free, and then, and only then, all cards and gems in PvP mode is unlocked at this point. You get access to all the cards, all the gems, and PvP mode is unlocked at this point. PvE, you can still have that acquisition. In my previous video, I talked about that. In the PvE, you can still have not access to all the cards. Is the PvE mode, the gauntlet style, whatever the heck they're coming up with, PvE modes later on, etc. An option to skip the tutorial is present at all times. That's the TLDR. There you go. Now let's go over the video and really delve into the thinking behind why I think this. So, I struggle with how to go about discussing this. We can either go through like each statement by statement what these guys are saying and kind of make my rebuttals, or I can kind of just do the whole line of thinking from the core principle down to the implementation. I can do either, but you know what? I think we're gonna do my statements and rebuttals as they discuss them. So right before this moment here in the community corner, they state very clearly the mission statement behind what Epic Games is trying to do with Paragon is to provide the most fun, engaging, competitive MOBA on PC and PS4. Period. We always said that in the TLDR. They want to make it the best. Okay. And they say that everything must be done to serve this. Everything must be done to serve that principle, the guiding mission statement. Everything about this video game has to make it fun, engaging, and competitive on MOBA, on PC and PS4. The most fun. Sorry, the most fun. They want to make it basically the best game in the genre. So let's watch what they say.
So first, let's straight out, will you ever make every card and gem immediately available to all players? The answer to that
is almost certainly not.
No.
However, I mean, I hate saying never because, again, like, you never know how things are going to be in the future, but almost certainly not. It's undesirable. It's actually bad for you, and let me explain why I think this is true. The reason we went for this this card system, like, why not just do an item shop? Like, so that's kind of like been the thing that's coming. I was like, why not just do an item shop? It's way more competitive. It's way more fair. That's true. But like, you've no investment in the item shop in any other MOBA. Like, you don't feel like attached to it. It's not like your, you know, Aghanim Scepter. It's not like your Rabadon's Death Cap. It's just a Rabadon's Death Cap. You know, it's like, that's what you do.
So basically, from the point that Cam here is making, that the development team is making, is that having access to all cards and gems is undesirable and bad for you because there's no investment or attachment to an item shop. Acquiring cards and items is more personal and connected to you as a player. By acquiring these items, the resulting progression, development, and personal goal setting and achievement will lead to an attachment to and personal investment in the game. And you know what? That is true. That is what makes RPGs so fantastic. You get involved. That is my character, my items that I have invested into with time, and this is my equipment. Now, my rebuttal is this. The thing that makes things competitive the most, and what will serve the mission statement, like we've said before above, is a fair and balanced playing field. This is because competitive play between humans is solely defined by human differences. In this case, the skills and knowledge used through the tools of the system. Humans compete. You want to compare human things. Now, to give these humans the tools needed to display the skills and knowledge that separate them on a competitive level, that's the whole reason why we compete, all of these tools need to be equally available. This is the only way to take away the non-human elements in competitive play in order to put the competitive emphasis onto the display and competition of human skills and human knowledge. It's not a competition of the system. We don't care, or else we would just watch simulations, right? Essentially, all cards and gems need to be available to all players when competing against other people in order for anyone to display their skills and knowledge in a fair, competitive battlefield that is not providing players with different and unequal tools.
We believe, as a company, that it is more fun of a game to have a game where there's some cards and you collect them and then you make your own version of the game that you want to play, is more engaging than just having a static item shop. That was the decision we made.
And
so, that's quite clear. Is it more fun where there are items you don't have, you collect them, and play with what you have in your own way than a static item shop? My thinking, my advice here is the main goal that has been stated already is to be competitive, engaging, and fun the most. And having a balanced playing field where all cards are available to be chosen to put into a deck is more fun and rewards players in a way that is more relevant to the game. It's more competitive. I would rather have the choice to put it in or not and display my skills and knowledge and do that competitive nature, which fundamentally is the part of Paragon that we've chosen to emphasize. It's kind of like, you know, an RPG, you do RPG things, and that's the most rewarding because it's an RPG thing. In a MOBA, that's different. In a competitive MOBA, what is more fulfilling to play in a competitive MOBA is different.
So we wanted to create an itemization system that was more personal and more connected to you as a player.
So they're saying that there may be no connection to itemization if we just had access to all the cards. Well, actually, there is a connection. The deck system, the deck building system is that connection. It's our own personal collection of cards we ourselves have put together based on our skills and knowledge. That is our way of displaying our skills and knowledge in a competitive game that enhances the experience of what the game is designed to be like. And we can still have that personal connection to the itemization system because we build these decks and we make these choices and learn from them and create that positive feedback loop.
Said, we do not believe fundamentally that a player who does not have every card isn't competitive. Like, that's just not true. Like, we think that cards are awesome and great and powerful, and we want players to, like, figure out how to, like, you know, use them all. But, you know, at the end of the day, you can make really any 12 cards that you put together that, you know, is going to be essentially it's balanced based on how many attribute points the cards give you as far as a math advantage. And sure, every now and then they'll be like, well,
so this is the most wishy-washy of the statements that are in here, and I'm not sure exactly what the meaning is, but the statement here is that there's no fundamental detriment to a player who does not have all the cards and items. Cam says that they're not competitive, but like that they're. I'm pretty sure that's what he means. There's no fundamental detriment. They can't be just as competitive to a player who does not have all the cards and items. And the reason is that all cards are balanced based on their attribute cost in the math department. So a 7 attribute point cost card is balanced and has just as much math power in the game than another 7 attribute point. Does this mean that all cards that equal the same total have the same exact impact? My rebuttal is not very scientific or, you know, very maybe sound from like a philosophical sense, but I think it's just makes sense and is logical. Cards are not and will almost certainly never be perfectly balanced. I think that's a fair statement, and therefore cannot be the systematic tool for leveling the playing field, as they are inherently not equal. So if the statement here is that it doesn't matter what cards you have access to, because 12 cards with the same attribute point value versus this set of cards with the same attribute point value will be mathematically the same. If cards cannot be balanced perfectly, then that can never be. That can never be. And especially with the compounding synergistic nature, differing synergistic nature of different cards and different heroes, especially in ranked when you can't mirror pick. So then that simply cannot be. There's already an automatic inequality built into the battlefield. So that inequality has to at least be available and offered to everybody. I think that's just how it has to be.
World where you're talking about affinities, right? Like in a world where like you have a font of experience and I'm not playing, you know, intellect. Then it's like, well, okay, I don't have access to that card, right? That's again a choice we made. So
the statement here is that not having font of experience in your deck, but you own it, while your enemy has the same as you. Is not having font of experience in your deck, but you own it, while your enemy has it. Is that the same as you not having had the choice to put font of experience in your deck because you don't own it? No, that is not the same, and I think that is what I think that's what is being said here, is that is the same. Not having the card, and while your enemy has it, and having the card, but you've chose not to put it in your deck, and your enemy has it, is the same, and no, it's not. Because one is an arbitrary, not relevant to the competitive nature of the game, as we've discussed already, reason, and the other one is a demonstration of a player's skill and knowledge. Right? On one hand, I'm demonstrating my choice, my skill, my knowledge of not having fun of experience in my deck because I own it, and I just want to play this way and against this player. And the other one is I never had the choice to demonstrate my skill and knowledge by putting fun of experience in my deck, but my enemy has it. Those two scenarios are not the same, and there's a really significant underlying thing that has to be available to players.
As far as that's concerned, so we don't feel that giving players all the cards and gems like removes a tremendous amount of motivational loop as far as like how you engage with the game and how you play the game. So
giving all players access to all items removes a key positive feedback loop that builds investment, attachment, and personal connection to the game. I have a couple things. So basically, the game is trying to be competitive. Therefore, players' improvement in their skill and knowledge, not itemization or system RNG, should be that positive feedback loop. We want everything to serve the function, the purpose of Paragon, and that is to be the most fun, engaging, competitive game there is. So everything has to serve that purpose, and players' improvement in their skill and knowledge should be that positive feedback loop primarily. More so, guys, to elaborate on that, the positive feedback loop that builds investment and player attachment should serve the mission behind Paragon first and foremost, and ultimately be based on the skills and knowledge of the player and not the items or tools of the system. In a competitive game, you don't care about competing equipment. You don't care about competing tools. You care about competing players. By becoming more skilled and more knowledgeable, one gets better at the main aspect of the video game, right? In World of Warcraft, it's getting better with your gear. In a competitive realm, it's about becoming better as a person, as a human, inherently becoming more engaged in this process, attached and looped into the main focus and purpose of the game. In contrast, getting attached to cards and items does not connect one with the human competitive nature of Paragon. There you guys go. I think that's all their statements. I have a few more things written down, but I've basically covered them. I was having a tough time of how do I break down the discussion here, and I went a different route, so that's completely fine. But basically, guys, what now? Okay, so I think I've proven my point, and I've given some good thinking, some good reasons behind it. How do you go from there? And basically, we already said in the TLDR, cards and gems have to be at least available to all players when they go into PvP. PvE can be a completely different system. I mean, with cool raid boss-like things and maps, I don't know what's going to come out. That can be something else. But PvP, if you want to be the best competitive thing on MOBA, on PC and PS4, you need the best competitive system. And you have to eliminate RNG, you have to eliminate arbitrary system limitations and stuff like that, and let humans compete against humans. That is true competition. And you know what? To support that, you need a good onboarding route. Like, it has to be there. You know, the one match explain the core fundamentals and hero control tutorial. Then your second and sixth matches in the tutorial are one in each lane, and role ramping up in its complexity and its guiding. And then you finish that off with a deck building tutorial, one co-op versus AI match where you're basically let to go free, and then and only then are all cards, gems, and PvP mode unlocked. And of course, there's an option all along the whole time if you want to. If you're, you know, a Masters level Dota player or something, and you're like, nah, I can just figure it out. Like, they can definitely have the option of skipping the entire thing, but it has to at least be optional. It has to be there. that tutorial, and I think that's it. So guys, again, I want to say again that I say all of this with well-meaning intentions. I care for this game, for its future, and I do everything to help it. What I say in this video, what I've said, is just helpful, constructive, and even if I seem a little like my heart is racing right now because I care, and yeah, so let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Keep it civil, keep it respectful, constructive, because nothing comes out of anything else. And I just want to provide thinking and help and opinions, and we'll see what it goes. So please, guys, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Patreon allows creators to offer their fans a way of supporting them and what they do. With flexible and painless payment options, anyone can support their creator for as little as $1 a month. If you would like to help me do what I love, check out the link in the video description to learn more. So, ladies and gentlemen, please like this video if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. Of course, guys, share it with the community, please, as I really want Epic to see this and just kind of see what they think of my thinking. If you guys want to subscribe, please do so, as if you found it enjoyable or helpful, I would love to help you out in the future. And of course, all my links for all the other nonsense down in the video description. So thank you guys very much for watching. Till next time, like always, stay optimistic and positive.